I've been playing Resonator for years now, performing with them, recording with them, and doing all sorts of silly things with them. I noticed there aren't really many informative videos out there about how to record Resonator, so I thought I'd kind of give my opinion. We have a wide variety of mics today, and we're going to cover all sorts of budgets for anyone with any kind of Resonator. And Resonator's a bit different to regular acoustic guitar, where there's different sound sources and a few more things going on sonically that we need to consider when we're recording a Resonator. So I'm not going to yap any longer, let's get into it. We're going to record some Resonator guitar today and see what microphones work best, starting from a low budget to a high budget. Here's the first microphone we're going to start with. It's a MXL 990. Very cheap feeling microphone. Yeah, it comes in a cool case, which when I walked out the shop, it looked like I was carrying a gun. But here it is, MXL 990. Comes with a shock mount and I guess another way to mount it. I got it for £45 second hand, but knew they're about £75. Honestly, I've only been using it as a room mic, but I wanted to start at the bottom of the spectrum. Alright, today's weapon of choice is a brass mule tricone, just because it's one of the more punchy guitars I have. So I'm going to position the mic more or less so I can see the capsule pointing at the 12th fret, and this mic is slightly at an angle. I know your angle is going to be different to mine, but more or less, I just want it pointing at the 12th fret, especially for condenser mics. Dynamic mics are going to be different. We'll talk about that later. But for one condenser, I want it a bit far back and then pointing towards the 12th fret. This is how the MXL sounds. Alright, up next is the Rode NT1A. We're going double in budget. We're going from £75 to about £160 new. And you can already tell there's a difference with quality. I mean, it comes with the pop filter. Yeah, the mic itself, although light, feels way more sturdy. It feels way less cheap. Yeah, we got another single condenser mic. So what's going to be good is to compare the two condenser microphones now. It comes with this cradle, which is super nice as well. Pop filter can be attached. And yeah, but any kind of cradle will do, I think, but this is a particularly nice one. Up next is the Rode NT1A. We're going for something similar here. We're going to point the bit. I said it earlier. We're going to point the diaphragm right at the 12th fret, and I've pretty much done that. In fact, the NT1A has a little stud to show where you're pointing at, which is super handy. And as I can tell, I'm a bit low. So we're going to raise this and bring it back just a touch. And now we're going to hear something for double the price of what we just heard. Up next, we have a Aston Spirit. This is going double the price of the last mic. So we've tripled from the first one. So this mic has a lot of gadgets on it. It's very cool, way weightier, and just has this really cool, unique design. I really love this mic. I kind of YOLO'd it and just bought it. But let's talk about what controls it has, starting here. So we have a pad, so we can do minus 20 decibels, 0 dB, which would be, I guess, normal. And then minus 10 dB. You can control the volume as audio comes in. Then we can change our cardioid pattern. So we can have it in figure of 8, which would mean this is the front of the mic and audio could come in, but it's also going to pick up from the other side of the mic. And then we have a cardioid pattern, which is heart-shaped. So it's kind of going to stop any sound directly from behind, but still pick up some from the outside. And then we just have a circular pattern, which is going to pick up everything in a circle. From here, though. So, what's this? We got a low filter pass as well. So that cuts out any bass. And I like to keep that flat. I like to keep this cardioid polar pattern. I know I kept calling it cardioid pattern, I apologize. And then I keep this at 0 dB because I like things as normal as they can be, really, for a microphone. This one, you can get a cradle for it, but it connects down here, which I found interesting as well. But, you know, sometimes the cradles piss me off a little bit. So I was really happy to see this. It just makes it an easy mic for me to use. I just stick it on and here we go. I haven't actually used it on Resonator before, so I'm curious to see how this is going to go. Up next, the Aston Spirit. Once again, pointing at the 12th fret, more or less. So I think this is good. Aston Spirit. We're gonna start changing things up a bit now, and we're gonna start messing with stereo, or maybe not necessarily stereo, but definitely two microphones. Up next, this is one we've all seen before. This is the SM57. Every studio has a billion of these. I have 4, and I'm sure once I get a drum kit in here, we're gonna have way more. But for now, yeah, we're gonna use this. And my application for this would be, I'd quite like to attach it to the F-hole and pick up some of the plunk and funk coming from the F-hole. Also, it should be mentioned that F-hole is where a lot of bass comes from in a resonator guitar, so I think this is going to be good for picking it up without it being overbearing. Alright, so as previously mentioned, we're miking up the 57 right by the F-hole to pick up juicy bass, and then the Aston is kind of pointed towards the body, and what we're going to do is we're going to try and reduce phase as much as possible. And I suppose that's where a problem comes in with the Aston, where it doesn't come with a cradle, at least mine didn't. And I'm struggling to get the phasing just right, but I'm going to try and reverse phase it, get it far enough that it's more an ambient thing than a poignant thing. We're going to leave the poignant stuff to the 57. An ear trumpet. The first mic we tried, about a 20th of the price of this one. So for 20, you could buy 20 of the first mic for the price of one of these. I've got it on my best stand, because 1, it's not mine, and 2, if it falls, you know what I mean. These microphones are typically used with bluegrass groups, folk groups. I've seen them used a lot with bowed instruments as well, because they pick up a wide range of sounds and balance it quite nicely, I think. So in a bluegrass group, you might have an upright bass, some banjo, guitar, mandolin, and singing from all sorts of people with low voices, high voices, and it's going to need to pick that all up in a nice dynamic range. So it's designed to pick up lots of sounds, and the Resonator puts out a lot of sound, so I'm interested to see how this is going to go. I've got it about 1 meter from me, pointed towards the body. We're going to do our last, typical mic setup. I don't know about typical, but here we have the Behringer C2, and they come as a stereo pair, and guess how much they cost? They cost £44. And I've saved these last because it's a different mic technique once again. Similar, but different, and it's actually been my favorite way to mic up the Resonator so far in the studio. I'm sure my opinion will change when I watch back on this video, but you get a lot for your money here. For £45, you get 2 small diaphragm condenser microphones. That's what this one looks like. And in the case, comes with a case, you have 2 spongy pop filters. You have a bar, which I'm going to show you how to hook up soon. And then it comes with 2 clips. You get everything you need. So let's hook up the clips. Let's see what we need to do here. I've really enjoyed using this for the Leslie as well as Resonator. But I haven't had a chance to experiment with much else, hence I'm kind of making this video today. But all you do is attach these 2 mic clips to the bracket, and then we attach the microphones to the clips, like so. And then that's pretty much it. If you're recording outdoors or doing something that like creates wind noise, maybe like a horn or, as I say, a Leslie speaker, you might want to attach the sponges. But for the purpose of today, I'm not going to attach these pop filters. And then this part just goes on a mic stand. As easy as that. Now, one thing to note with these microphones is that you kind of want them as even as possible in terms of volume. So from what I remember, about 17.5 is where I like it. And this one, 17.5, that's gain control. You guys are probably working with a physical interface, but this is how I set my levels and turn on 48 volts. And that's about it. They're ready to go now. You can ignore these. That's for something different. But here is where I do my gain staging. And we're ready to go. £45 for two small diaphragm condenser mics. And the way I like to mic these up is I make sure they are, first of all, evenly distanced to prevent any phasing issues. And then it's really up to you at this point where you put them. If you want more string noise, I'd say move them slightly that way. Make sure one of them's pointing at the strings. If you want more clunk and body noise, maybe you want it to be more forward in your mix, point it to the right. Today, since we're entering experimental territory, I'm going to point one at the pickup like we have been most of the day. Maybe your resonator doesn't have a pickup, by the way, so just this general area, essentially where a sound hole would be on an acoustic guitar. And then I'm going to make sure the other one's pointed at the 12th fret, so they need to come up together in height, and I'm going to twist them a little bit, because I'm sort of twisting a little bit. And I'm going to sit back a bit, pretty much that distance as well is what I like, and we're going to hear it. All right, here are the last two microphones. This one is called a soup can. We're going to go into novelty now. I mean, I say novelty, but I think everything has a use if you can find an application for it. And this one, for making old Delta blues sounds, is wonderful. My friend David and the Devil, he released a song called My Little Frog, and he did the whole song on this soup can. It plugs in on a 1/4-inch jack and comes with a cradle. All that for about £25, I think. I'll link them because what they do is so cool. And I can do that and not worry about it. Up next, we have this, I don't know. It looks like a green bullet, but I don't think it is a real one. But either way, it's a vintage harmonica microphone. Well, it wasn't built for harmonica, but that's what it ended up being used for. And this cost me around £200 on a vintage market. I was super hungover in a celebratory mood because I ran a really cool event. And I just went, yo, I want that. It looks cool as hell. Name a price. And I wasn't really thinking. I probably could have gotten less money for it, but yeah, we're going to try these two now, make the guitar sound old. All right, last but not least, we're going to hear the soup can and the nearly 100-year-old harmonica microphone. Let's go have a listen. So, yeah, loads of microphones, one guitar. I want to give my opinion, and yeah, my favorite's going to be the damn ear trumpet. It just sounds so full, so cool. However, it's not mine. Out of all of my own ones, I really like the Aston Spirit combination with the SM57. But if I was going to put the resonator in the background of a song, and it wasn't just guitar vocal thing, I would use the dual condensers, because there's so much you can take away without it being too much in your face at the same time. I'd only want to apply something like the SM57 to get more punch and to get something else going. Please let me know what you liked and what your thoughts are on this video. I know this is a very subjective thing, and I know some of you are going to be like, oh, your miking positions are wrong and this, that. Like, I'm doing it the way I've done it. I'm doing it the way I've done it on recordings that have done quite well, and
the way I've been doing it for years. So everyone's going to have their opinion. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Tell me your opinion on what sounds good, on what you like to do. Let's all be nice. Thanks for watching. This was filmed at Juke Joint in the Woods. If you're up for recording, if you've got an EP or anything you need to record, drop them a message on Instagram and they can work out a recording session with you. I'm now an engineer here, so if you want to work with me, it would be an honor. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.